Leo, welcome to Pure Tarot. So I have to finish my series for the full moon in Virgo that happened just on Friday on the 18th to be exact. But you know, today's the spring equinox and basically the full moon has just been like highlighting this whole, I guess, weekend, you know, coinciding with the spring equinox, so the entry of the sun in Aries, sort of the real beginning of the year, quote unquote, in terms of natural zodiac, and maybe even just like the cycles of the earth, right? So new birth, recreation, etc., etc. So long premise just to tell you that we're here. I'm gonna draw a angel card just to get off, like to get a, I don't know, a little message here. I have two cards for you, Leo. Big happy changes and let go. So that it feels bittersweet, right? It feels like, so bitter-sweet. So something you have to let go is maybe harder and not as pleasant, and it's opening up room, of course, making room for big happy changes, right? That's not just happy changes, it's big happy changes. So extremely positive. It feels, how do I say? I don't know, it feels like a burst. Look at this card, right? This lady is, she's bursting with joy and happiness. The Emperor as the first card out, that's boss energy. Nothing else, nothing less, I should say, for you, these two. Eight of Wands in reverse with the Knight of Swords, a little bit of a contradiction, but in essence with these two cards. But let's just keep going. I'm gonna get one or two more here. Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and maybe one more for this side. If the cards allow. Okay, that's it for this side for now at least. So let me do this like that. Actually, no. Let me leave it as it was. Okay. So I had a reading the other day that had two angel cards, and I ended up reversing, right? The card that I lay on the right, eventually halfway through the reading, I put on the left-hand side. Basically what I was doing was just attributing the right energy to the right cards on each side, right, for whatever was going on in the reading. So I don't know where that's going to go. Maybe I can take a look here and see if we are having that sort of, I just want to know what's what. On this side, we start with the Knight of Pentacles. Yes, I feel I want to get the cards for you before I start explaining anything or describing what I see. Sometimes I jump in, but not today. Okay, we have a slew. So we have the Queen of Cups in reverse. I'm going to put them down here. Because they came as a pile, I'm going to leave them as a pile. We have the Ten of Wands in reverse. The Six of Wands in reverse. This one is the Hermit in reverse. And the Six of Cups in reverse. Okay. It's really interesting because you have the Knight of Pentacles, but then the 5 cards that came out as a pack are all in reverse, and it's on the side of letting go. So I think in your case, the two oracle cards are absolutely well distributed. The energy is fitting with each side. Quite interesting. So let's look at the big happy changes here. I mean, I think whatever is happening for you, I get this sense that you feel like you deserve it, and not in a, you're not being ostentatious and you're not being pompous, right? You're absolutely in your, sitting in your power and feeling somewhat entitled, but I want to say, like, I'm choosing maybe the wrong words, but it's well deserved. So it's a healthy pride, right? For some reason you felt that those changes were meant for you, quote unquote. And they're probably the labor, the fruits of your work or anything you would have, commanded in the past, right? So, or laid for yourself in the past and have been overlooking, because I think the emperor, as is one of his role, is to make sure whatever is happening orderly. I hear the word, things need to be productive. So you've been very keen and you've been astute. You've been on top of your stuff. Literally. You've been on top of things, and it's really paying off, right? So those changes are a consequence of all of that, of your actions, and it's really, really important to note. That's why it's so well deserved. Here, those changes, it's interesting because they're coming really, really fast. And if the Eight of Wands would have been upright, it would have been like, wow, lightning fast. But even here with the Eight of Wands in reverse, because it's coupled with the Knight of Swords, I mean, it's still super quick. Like whatever's coming in is swiftly arriving towards you. Yet at the same time, there could be partial information that's not accessible just as of yet. So keep in mind that it is in reverse. So maybe you're not getting the 100% of the 100% of the information basically that you were expecting, or maybe that you're waiting for basically. Or simply, as changes are happening, right, they don't all necessarily fall into place on the same day. So it could be, right, a succession of eventually smaller changes, but maybe when you look back in a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, you're going to be like super surprised, like maybe not so surprised, but you'll be delighted to see, basically that overall it was a huge change. That's what I wanted to really, really point to, is that the notion of big happy changes, like the magnitude of this big change or these big changes, might be really seen with a little bit of hindsight and with a little bit of time behind you, but it won't be very long. I think it's within a year for sure. We do have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse on this side, so it could be someone else in your life. It could be simply I'm sensing delays, and I think it has to do with the Eight of Wands in reverse. There's so the partial missing information, right? Maybe is creating, and I'm sensing maybe the money is coming in, maybe at a later date. Maybe you were expecting a little lump sum of money, a payment. That's one way of seeing it. It could simply be you being a little, like spending your money a little bit too much, right, at the moment. You might have just major expenses or bills to pay you know, sometimes it's, I don't know, like the city tax or God knows what, you know, those annual bills. Or an unforeseen one, something you like a big ticket if you sped or, you know, went too fast on the highway. I don't know. I just it's just picking one example. I'm saying this because I mean you do have the Knight of Swords. I'm thinking, what if you've been driving fast? But it doesn't have to be you. It's just what popped into my mind. Let's look at what you have to let go for now on this side. I might pull some more here just to get an idea of what else would be the happy side of those changes. I mean, we can already tell the magnitude just being the Emperor, right? We're talking things that you would have put in place that are majorly important to you, not just the trivial stuff for you. So we're going to go back to that. So let's see what you need to let go first, because probably this needs to happen in order to accelerate here what is happening in terms of change for you. So maybe it pertains to a person here with the Knight of Pentacles. It's interesting. We do have a Queen and a Knight. That's my cat doing its claws downstairs on the carpet near the entrance. Sorry, guys. Better that than the sofa. Okay, so this Knight of Pentacles, I don't know, I sense it as you sort of taking your sweet time to let go. I think it's interesting, Leo. You might have this tendency to really give things or people a chance before you really finally drop the ball, right? Or, you know, let go entirely. So for some reason, I'm sensing a resistance on your part, a slight resistance. And it's also shown here. So we have these 5 cards in reverse. First one being the Queen of Cups in reverse. I'm just going to show them to you again. That 10 of Wands in reverse. And then the 6 of Wands in reverse. The Hermit in reverse and the 6 of Cups. So it's interesting. On the letting go side, it's talking about letting go of past memories. It's really closely linked to your emotional state. It's also linked to something. This is your card, right? The 6 of Wands is one of your cards. And I think it's... So emotions and passions, right? Things that you really love doing. It's interesting. I had the word workaholic for another sign for something else, and it's coming up here again. I hear, you know, you would have been in the past extremely concentrated on one thing, like a tunnel vision with the Hermit, but it's in reverse. I sense that it's sort of narrow-mindedness to a degree. This sort of refusal to let go of your burden and basically, you know, wanting success at all costs, but always sort of like hitting, almost like when you recreate the same things and you get the same results and you're thinking you will get different results, but you're not changing a single thing of how you're proceeding. So basically you're recreating the same results over and over, or no results, or at least not the results you want. So in the end, you know, and it's this sort of stubbornness, right, I was describing here on the Knight of Pentacles. It's really interesting. I'm reading it really differently than usual. And then this Queen of Cups, right, she's not fulfilled. This is you on this side. There's almost like a sort of a sense of frustration I'm picking up here. Yeah, it's really interesting that I would have gotten narrow-mindedness on the Hermit, but that's what I'm sensing as well. Also a little bit of frustration linked to a lack of attention. I think you, and I'm sorry to bring it up, like if the Six of Wands is in reverse, there's something you would have liked others to notice that you've been doing, working really hard at, that I think you wish you would have gotten more recognition from. It's really interesting. I think you're really proud of the results. That's what I'm sensing though, because this Knight of Pentacles has been really working hard and steady and consistently, methodically. So I mean, the results are there and they're really, really palpable, right? They're cha-ching. You can hear like there's like this. It's concrete, but there's something about it that is it didn't get the the recognition or like the welcoming or the feedback that you were looking for, or like to the level that you were looking for, and you're frustrated about that to a degree. You know, you're a little bit like, oh, okay, I put in all this effort, now I'm like a little bit frustrated, that like almost annoyed here with the Ten of Wands in reverse. And it's making you look back at either the time that you've invested in whatever. This is really hard to tell. For me, it's emotional, right? I said it talks about your emotions and passions, but I don't sense it to be a relationship. I sense it to be like something you've invested time in terms of like a creative endeavor, a small business, a hustle, like a side hustle, something like that. Like but that means something to you, right? Or that it might not be your primary thing, but at the same time it's still something vital to you. And I say vital, like not that it's a question of life or death, but that it's important enough that it has it takes up space in your life, right? It's not something you do on a one-off. This is something you apply yourself to, but that is not necessarily your main gig or your main, how do you say that? Your main player. I have all these weird words. Not sure. I'm gonna let that go, but it's really interesting. I mean, because I'm not sure what I'm talking about. It's gonna take on different forms with different people, right? So it's just really interesting. So I'm just gonna say this though. I did mention the word gig. I'm not saying it's necessarily linked to like, let's say a comedy show, I don't know, a band playing a song, doing a gig, and not like that. It feels, what I get out of that is that it's a short, when you perform or whenever you execute this particular thing or project or whatever this is, it's something that's being done, like it might take preparation, but once you perform it, it's something that you do, like it's punctual. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what it feels like. That's why it feels like it's not a primary, or it doesn't feel like a 9-to-5 job. Okay, I want to get another card here. I want to clarify why the Queen of Pentacles is in reverse. I don't know if it's just a little delay in money like I was describing. We have the High Priestess upright. I think it might be a person now. I'm wondering. Well, if it's a person, it's someone quiet, someone very discreet. I like that. In the sense that it's someone low-key, a little shy even. It's interesting. Or just reserved, right? Someone that likes to stay back or kind of... I mean, especially with the Emperor, right? I mean, if you're the Emperor, this person's gonna be like super chill. Like they're not gonna want like supersede, you, or they'll be a great sidekick. I find, in terms of someone very laid back, easygoing, someone simple. There's a lot of, the Queen of Pentacles is, so it's earth signs, so, and the High Priestess, I believe, is a Virgo card, although a lot of people say Pisces as well, or attribute it, obviously there's a moon reference to it as well, but I think I sense a lot of, the word discretion I picked up, but also, and it slipped my mind, god damn, I had the perfect word for this. It's gonna come back. Damn, that's too bad. Anyway, let me keep going. Maybe on this side, the big happy change is a meeting this person. You as the Emperor meeting a person like this, or maybe simply it could be work related. It could be, it doesn't matter the setting, right, or the circumstances. It's hard to tell. It doesn't really look like a love relationship per se. It feels more coming into contact, right? Although it could be delayed, but there's definitely going to be contact. There's too much movement and communication on these cards, even if the Eight of Wands is in reverse. For me, it's still at its core, it's a communication card, right? It's also movement. So it's really like, it's really interesting. I want to show you something. I wish that word would come back for what I wanted to say. But anyway, just want to show you that. Sorry, let me show you. The wands are pointing this way because the card is in reverse, and the Knight is going, right? Everything's going left. And what's left is on the table is the Emperor, right? So it feels like the movement is this particular person here is coming towards you, Leo. Like if I was to maybe predict, I'd say that this person is going to be the one approaching you. And also being an Emperor, right? You're like, how can I put it? You're gonna let this person approach you. I mean, you might be seeing it from a mile away already, right? But you're gonna let it be, right? You're not gonna intervene. I think you're just gonna wait and see, kind of thing. It's interesting because usually it's the Empress that waits, right? She's very much more passive. The Emperor might be proactive, but he's still very I still sense it to be wait and see and you come to me kind of energy. So yeah, I sense so practicality from this person, on this person's side. I do sense a feminine energy in contrast to the Emperor, right? I mean, it is a queen and it is the High Priestess, so it could be, feminine, masculine here. But gender doesn't matter, of course. I hope you know that, especially in these readings. It's more general and symbolic than anything else. So this person would be intuitive, but also practical, like I was saying. And I really wish my thought would come back, but it's not. So I'm going to stop trying to retrieve it here. I just wonder why the Queen of Pentacles is in reverse. I sense a lot of shyness. Maybe intimidation. I mean, you are an Emperor here. you're probably also giving off, like sometimes Leos are a bit aloof, right? It's hard to tell. Not all Leos, but some of them are much more, especially when you're in an attitude of, I'm waiting to see, right? Kind of thing. Almost like waiting for the other person to reveal themselves. Like it could be overwhelming for this person. Especially if they're a little bit already guarded by nature. And so secretive, kind of, you know, with the High Priestess here. This could downright be a moon in Capricorn in terms of placements. And so the person would be extra reserved. I'm so sorry, guys. My cat is really acting up. It's got to be spring fever. Okay. Pollux, viens. I'm gonna. Sorry, guys. Pollux, viens. Viens. Sorry, guys. I'll be right back. Viens, viens, viens. Viens, Pollux. Viens. I don't know, I'm hoping he's gonna go outside. Anyway, sorry for that. Okay. Well, it's interesting. I predict a meeting with someone practical, someone that would be a good. And I have the Two of Pentacles in reverse here. I decide to pull one more card. So if it might not necessarily be a love relationship like I was describing. So I sense this would be someone with whom you could it could be anything. It could be a family member. It could be I do sense a possible business endeavor. This now another pentacle, right? Like another pentacles card. So Two of Pentacles in reverse. That's really interesting. Because I'm thinking back about your hustle here, like your side hustle, what I was describing is more sporadic in terms of what you do. And I'm wondering if this person has anything to do with that. I'm wondering in terms of improving anything for you because of the Pentacles, right? Because of this attitude of being hardworking at something that would generate money. And you meeting someone that has like maybe business acumen, although I don't sense this person to be extremely rich at the, you know what I mean? Because the card is in reverse. I would even go as far as you might be helping someone in terms of your know-how, right? I don't know what it is you do in terms of being a boss, right? You might be offering a job to someone. It could be as simple as that. You could be in a role where you're hiring someone. You know, you'd be choosing this person for their qualities. It's really interesting. And I sense this person, you'd have to like really, I don't know why I'm getting this. It's a really interesting take. I mean, that sounds like a super specific message for someone here. In terms of selecting a candidate for maybe a possible short, it could be just a short partnership in terms of, especially if you work on short-lived projects, right? Let's say a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever the time span is. I'm just giving you an example, like something short-lived in terms of its turnaround and delivery. Or it could be love. I mean, it doesn't scream love. It screams an encounter. Meeting someone new. It feels someone new, literally. And it won't really describe like what the changes are, except maybe the change is the meeting, and the change would be some form of selection, right? That's interesting. Selector. I have selector. Selector is like a DJ. I think it's how Jamaicans say that. The person who chooses the music is a selector, like a DJ. That's so funny. Let me get a trinket. I'm gonna get a trinket, maybe for the oracle card. Let's see, I'll get 2 or something. Oh, I got a bunch. Okay. There are 4. Uh-oh. And one is caught inside the other. Anyways. I can't entangle them. It doesn't matter. So you have, let me show you, an umbrella. And it's tied. And I'm going to leave it like that because that's interesting. It's going to play in with a horseshoe, if I can show you. This is so interesting. They finally came apart. That's really interesting, the entanglement. I like that. It says something. It's almost like it's raining out here, right? Also, it's funny. It's been raining today and yesterday. So like the umbrella, maybe you live somewhere where it's rainy. Or I mean, it's just spring, so it's just a rainy season. And then we have the dragonfly. And we have a beautiful, let me show you, moon. So, I mean, the dragonfly and the moon, for me, they do go on the let go card because dragonflies are a symbol of transformation, right? And the moon is all about these emotions, these past memories, and like this very emotional, deep emotional states, or sort of, you're sort of in a particular emotional state, like, I don't know how to put it, like, yeah, you're in your feelings. That's how you say it. You're in your feelings, with the Queen of Cups in reverse here. It's really interesting because on the letting go side, remember I told you you weren't getting the recognition you wanted prior. And here on the contrary, there's something very definite about standing out. But it's not necessarily you if you're the emperor. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's you standing out. Or maybe that's what's happening. It's a strange one, in the sense that I'm not sure of the chronology here. I don't know if, typically you would say, logically you would say, after letting go come the changes, right? But the way it's here on the table, and this is really, it's interesting. On the left is the happy changes, and on the right are letting go, right? So because we're like North Americans, at least for me, you know, we read from left to right, we write from left to right. So I'm thinking movement is, I'm reading from left to right here on the table. But I think it has to be with in this other direction, and it's exactly what I was pointing to before. Everything is going in this direction. Like these 2 cards are pointing to this end, and what's at the end, the very end, is the Emperor. So it's really interesting. It's almost like everything is in reverse here. You start like the card that's on the right hand side, at the very far right hand side, is the 6 of Cups. It almost starts like in your childhood. It's almost like a life story maybe. I mean, I'm not necessarily reading it like that, but it's interesting that it would kind of crop up. Maybe you've done a lot of growing up, quote unquote, and so by letting go and transforming yourself, sort of getting past wanting so much attention and feeling frustrated when you don't get the attention you perceive you need or you want, right? In the sense that I'm pretty sure you got the attention because you worked really hard at something and you yield results. Like, so it's impossible you got nothing. It's just you wished to get more and you didn't get it. And then eventually, I don't know, here you get a lucky break with the horseshoe. Maybe that's really interesting. Maybe you learn to tap into your, let's say this is you. Let's do something else with these cards. Maybe you decide to put more emphasis on your intuition and a bit less on getting the work always perfectly done here. And so the transformation really is, what's happening is it moves you swiftly, and when you make decisions, right, when you stop being ambivalent, it moves you forward and it puts you in a higher place. And when I say a higher place, like even a higher state of mind, like almost like even a higher perspective on your own work, on your own feelings, on your own reactions, on everything, right? So it's sort of like in the observer role. It's really interesting. That's a funny way to like change it all up and read it upside down, quote unquote. It's really interesting. I do think the umbrella points to a little bit of you being cautious and a little bit guarded, right? You know, umbrellas are to protect either from rain or from the sun. If it's yeah. So the idea of wanting to protect oneself a little bit. That's really interesting. But take it as it resonates. Maybe this Queen of Pentacles coupled with the High Priestess is really someone you know that you get to meet. It's a really, really strong possibility here, definitely. And I really just want to point out that this person is really, I keep coming back to the idea that I like how they're very, how do I say, like, they're like very, very conciliant, like and so they're really, really, in terms of partnering up with them, they're very easy to work with. That's, you know, they're very, I like that. Even if the Queen of Pentacles is in reverse, I'm really sensing because they're not going to want to take all of the spotlight. On the contrary, they probably hate compliments and they don't want to be at the forefront. It's really interesting. They feel like a really strong pillar to lean on. Someone you could lean on in terms of being dependable and I sense even like, you know, punctual. Again, even if the Queen of Pentacles is in reverse, she possesses those qualities. I'm not too sure how, I don't know, maybe it's because of the High Priestess. They come off so discreetly that you don't see their qualities, their business qualities right off the bat. And so they sort of show up in the reverse when you encounter them, but don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. And that's really interesting because I think as an emperor, you're going to see right through this. You're going to be able to know that this person is someone you can really select. It's really strange. Anyway, I'm not too sure the context. It's that one is wide open for you. All right, Leo. I hope it made sense. Somehow it was a long read. Apology for that. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. I'll see you soon. Take care.